Good morning, good morning. Welcome to week 9, chapter 9. This week we're talking about ethics and globalization. This is I think a very fascinating topic. I love when I'm teaching international business and we touch on ethics because I find the topic very fascinating. Our learning outcomes this week are to understand the ethical issues arising in global business, explain the issue of ethical relativism in a global environment. Very fascinating. I know I'm a nerd, but explain the challenges in developing a global code of ethics, analyze the ramifications of the UN Global Compact, yes, and explain the OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises. We learned that our ethics are based on our values, our norms, but our values and our norms, our morals, are not that of the whole world. And when we're talking about ethics and globalization, that you're opening up to so much there. The chapter talks about ethical relativism, and let me read this to you. In some environments, the ideal black and white world of ethics must give way to gray area of ethical relativism. Policies and procedures can be hard to follow when your customers don't have comparable policies in their own organizations. In addition, policies that have been outlawed in the United States in an attempt to legally enforce ethical corporate behavior may be standard operating procedures in less developed countries. We don't accept bribes here in the United States. Accepting a bribe is considered illegal. In other countries, bribes are standard operating procedure. But what do you do? And I'm going to leave that open to you. What do you do? In our country, we don't accept bribes. But if you want to work in another country where bribes are your SOP, and they're kind of looking at you for that bribe, what are we going to do? Again, I'm leaving that up to you to learn as we're going through this chapter, because we want to uphold our own ethics, right? We want to do what is, again, ethics can often involve legality, so you want to make sure that you're not breaking any rules. But what do you do when that other organization is looking to you for something that we might not be able to do? Richard George offers the following guidelines for organizations doing business in these situations, and he gives you 10 guidelines, shall we say, as it mentions, to follow. Do no intentional harm. Produce more good than harm to the host country. So I'm gonna, that's under the Global Code of Conduct. How would we be able to have a global ethical code? Is that even a possibility? I think you're going to really enjoy this chapter, and I think it's going to open a lot of thoughts in your mind, but maybe leave you with more questions, because what do you do in these situations? Again, we talked about ethics within a business, within our home country. But what about when we're working in a host country? Can we get into that host country standing by our morals? So, again, I find this a very, very fascinating chapter. I would love to talk about this more with you. I would love your perspective after you read this. And I wanted to remind you to check into your materials and resources. There's some information in here for you. Under that, that's your Module 1. And then if you go to your, actually they're backwards. Module 1 has your PowerPoint. I'll have to update that video for you now that I see that right now. I'll do that as soon as I finish video taping this. But again, please take advantage of, utilize these resources as a supplement to the book, to our assignments to the case studies, whatever we have going on this week, our conversations, whatever. But let these reinforce what we are learning. And I would really love to have a conversation with you about global ethics. It's definitely something that, as the book mentions, it can become a gray area that we need to deal with. So welcome to week 9, and I hope you have a wonderful week 9.